Hello, everyone. I wanted to take a little bit of time and show you a little staking project I've been working on. Just kind of go through the steps I follow to do staking utilizing Esri, CrescentLink, and Project Planner. Just going to take a few minutes and kind of show you how I go through and set things up. Not going to get too much into the details of the drawing. You guys all know how to draw, but just kind of want to show you the functionality that's available to you as you're doing and engineering these type projects. So first thing I want to do is, as you can see here, I have my map with just blank roads, getting ready to start. First thing we always recommend is creating a work order so you can track your projects, have everything ready, to have everything tagged to your features, being able to change your statuses, all that works through the work order manager. So first thing I want to do is start an editing session. So I want to start an editing session. Now I want to create my work order. So I want to go to the work order manager, click my little arrow here, and I'm just going to call this project 1. Give it a description of fiber project. I'm going to assign it to me. Date assigned today, or you could also use the drop down. All right, just want to save that. Okay, now that I've got that work order saved, now what I want to do is make sure it's turned on. So I'm going to use my magnifying glass, find the project, and hit select. Now you can see up here in purple that the project's on. That means anything I draw or do in the map from here on out gets tagged with that project. Now that I've got my my roads, I'm ready to stake. So what we've got some guys out in the field, and they're using Esri Collector to actually collect data in the field. So I'm just looking at a blank map. I really don't know. I kind of got an idea of where they're starting. They're starting in this area, but I want to see what data they're bringing. So I'm going to come over here and just turn on my feature services to see what they're collecting. And you can see that they're collecting pad locations pretty much down this route here. So let's just kind of take a look at that. So you can see what they're doing. They're starting up here at pad 1, and they're just kind of working down getting pad locations. If you also notice, as I zoom in here, they're actually collecting bore locations where they want to place bores, certain things like that. So this is information that's actually coming in from the field through the ArcGIS Online Collector app that you can set up and do this. So now that I've got the information coming in from the field, I want to create a station line for this route. So if you're unfamiliar with station lines are basically just a line that you can draw down the middle of the road to give you measurements. So if you've ever driven down the road or seen sheets that say 0 plus 50, 0 plus or 1 plus 00, 1 plus 50, so on. So it's marking these what we call stations every 50 feet. So I've already kind of got that drawn out, but what I want to show you is to draw the station line. I just create a station line and draw it down the middle of my route. You can kind of see the red line here. Okay, it goes all the way down my route. Now, once I get that drawn, now what I want to do is use the Esri feature over here to make that line a route. And when I make it a route, what that allows me to do is now to add hashes to it. And what that means is if I come over here and look at the properties station lines, this up right quick, go to hatches. You can see that you got different settings here for hatches. You can do it differently by class. You can have different symbols, so on and so forth. But what that does is allows you to put these measurements on the station line that you created. So if I zoom in here, you'll be able to see the stations if I get into a range. So you can see I start here at 0, 50, 100, 150, so on, all the way down the route. All right. So now that I've kind of got the measurement line laid out for my route, the next thing I want to do is start turning on any facilities that I want to reference. So you may have data in your map that is existing facilities, maybe existing splice points, house locations, different things like that. So now that I kind of see where the field guys are going, I've got my measurement lines, I want to start turning on my reference points. So I'm going to turn on my existing plant, my existing copper plant, my existing fiber plant, and my existing splice points up here, existing splice points. All right. So now you can see I've got all my reference data in here. So this is stuff that's actually already in my map, in my system. I'm going to be kind of drawing and referencing against. So now this is where it gets a little tricky. So those of you who are used to designing and engineering in AutoCAD, some of the things you lose in staking in a GIS format is the double-edged sword of scale. So scale is a great thing until you get into close, and then when you have to start spreading things out, you lose a little bit of scale in one direction where you gain it in the other. So when we're talking about staking telecom, we always want our horizontal scale to be great, which is the route, hence the station marks on the route. What you lose is what I call the vertical scale, or from the center line off, because as you start spreading these facilities out, you lose that reference scale to a sense. But you still want to represent it. You still want to draw it clearly so your contractors can see what's going on. All right. So now that I've got my facilities located, what I want to do now is create right-of-way lines. And I'll show you what those look like, and then I'll show you how I created them. So I've turned on my right-of-way lines, and you can see I've just got these hash lines marking the right-of-way of the route I'm going. And the way I do that is I actually choose my station line that I drew down the middle, and you can come up here to the editor drop down and do a copy parallel. Once you get those on, you can select right-of-way, and you can select your distance off of the center line that you want to create that right-of-way. All right. You could do it on one side of the road, the left or the right, or on both sides of the road. So what I did is just chose both sides of the road and worked it out to where all of my facilities would be within the right of way, and I would have some area here to draw my new facilities. Okay. So now that I've got my right of way, my station lines, and my existing facilities on, what I want to do now is start looking at the field data that has come in, specifically the PEDs first. All right. Now, as you can see, these PEDs are actually GPS located in the field. So they've taken this point, it's coming in as an accurate GPS point. But my reference here, again, is a little off scale for that. So what I want to do is just take this as a general location, kind of in this area, as a reference point to where the field guys want me to set this ped. And I want to draw it in to just kind of to be able to be seen on the staking sheets, but not necessarily referenced. You may want to have it exactly referenced, and that's perfectly fine. It's all a preference of how you're drawing your map. But I'm going to offset it a little bit. So I'm going to turn on my new pedestal so you can see where I've placed the map. And so I placed it back here just out of the way to where we've got some room to kind of see how everything's going on in that location. Uh, So if I scale back out here, you can see pedestal here. I just kind of moved it back to the right of way here, 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 so on and so forth. So I placed my pedestals in reference to where the field information was coming in to see where exactly where they wanted me to place it. So now that I've got my pedestal locations, now what I want to do is find my place the boards that came in from the field. So what I want to do is come over here and turn on my path. And as you can see, I've symbolized 4-inch pipe, 2-inch pipe, as well as culverts that we've collected in the field. I want to turn those on, and you can see those drawn in the map. And the way I do it is just kind of draw them. Most construction projects require you to be at the back of the right of way, but I just kind of draw those in specifically to the reference points that the guys in the field are giving me, as well as the distances that they're showing. So now that I've kind of got my PEDs located, the bores located, the paths of the construction lines located, I'm just going to turn these reference points off so my map doesn't continue to get cluttered. And you can see that the project is starting to kind of come together. You can see the bores, the PED locations. So now what I've got to do is draw my facilities. So the new facilities that I want to draw in. So I went ahead and kind of worked this whole project out, but just want to show you kind of what the new facilities would look like. So I've got those in red, and I've drawn them through the map, connecting into the pedestals, following my bores, all the way down this project. So if I zoom out a little bit, you can kind of see how the path kind of falls around, following the right of way, hitting the pedestal locations, boards where necessary, and all the way down to the very end of the project down here. All right. So now that I've got all my facilities drawn in and got these added to my database, got them tagged with my work order. One of the neat things with Work Order Manager here is that we can actually come into this work order, pull that work order up this window, and we can see all the features that we've put in. So all the cable, the quantities, the handholds, the pedestal locations, the bores, the footages, all of this is being kept in this manner here. The good thing about this is when I want to update the status. So if I'm using this as a tracking mechanism, so I want to take this from proposed to construction, or from construction to splicing, or from splicing to as built, I can come in here and select certain uh, uh, part of the project, or I could do the entire thing. So I just go to update status. I can choose obviously a customized domain here to change my status, and then I can do selected records or the entire work order. So that lets me kind of help symbolize based on status of the project. So now once I've got my facilities drawn, everything's in the database, got my work order tag, now what I want to do is pull up Project Planner. So Project Planner is the staking kind of construction sheet, bill of materials function of CrescentLink that we use to design and build projects. So I want to come in here, do the same thing, create this work order for Project Planner. I'm going to say Project 1 Posed Fiber Build assigned to Bruce today. Let's pick the date for these just to show you the flexibility of that, and then I want to hit save. All right. So now once I've got that project created, what I want to do is pull that project up, and you'll see that I've already gone through and placed our staking sheets along this route. So you can see those pull up there as the map draws in. You can see the sheets. And the way we do that is simply this little feature right here. You go in here, and I'm using custom sheets. So I'm going to select custom. And then you select the scale you want to use. Now this is the neat thing is you can use one scale all the way through, or you can mix and match scales. So if you've got maybe you've got a long run of cable where nothing's really happening, so you want to kind of do a bigger scale. I like the 1:50 scale. It's just the engineer in me. It's good, a good reference scale. It doesn't overpopulate the sheets, just kind of a personal preference. But once you pick the scale you want and you go into the map here, you can see that your cursor changes and you have a little outline of the sheet. And what you would do is just come along this route. If I zoom in here, I'll show you how to kind of work the staking sheet. What you do is you right click on holding the sheet. You see the little dog ears. That lets you reference the sheet in any direction that you want. So as telecom engineers, we like to draw everything left to right from the central office out. So I'm going to turn it there. So the dog ears let me know that's the top of the sheet. So the feed is coming in from top to bottom based on that reference. And then once I let go of the right click, you see the sheet stays in that reference. And I can just come in here. Once I get it lined up where I want, I left click to set the sheet. And then you notice the sheet stays in the last reference that you do. So if you're going down a road, you could just click, 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 add sheets down through there. When you get ready to change the reference, the orientation again, simply right click, get the dog ears, and you can adjust the orientation that way. Okay. So now that I've got my sheets laid out along my route, now what I want to do is start placing work operations. So work operations are the units, the construction units that we're going to be adding to the sheets. And so you can see I've got some of them already down here. I've got a pedestal, I've got the cable, footage, and basically this is from this location to that location. So I have the cable with the footage, pedestal, a 4-inch directional bore, and a ground rod. So that's all the units I want to capture at that location. And so what that does is gets puts into a work operation that you can see right here. You can see multiple operations on other sheets. And then I'll turn that on just so you can see what it looks like. So you can see I have it symbolized as a star, and then the labels have the units that correspond to the units that are down here. Now, if I want to add a unit, I can simply come in here, click Add Unit. I could add a unit from the map. So if I wanted to select this feature, I could click on a feature in the map to add to that work operation. And if I wanted to add a unit, I can always do this through our material catalog. I can go to a catalog. I've got a engineering consulting vendor sheet here. I'm looking at RUS units. So I could come in here and add a unit from this way as well. So several different ways to populate these work operations with units. Also, you can see here if I wanted to add instructions, I could add instructions in here that would also show up on the unit in the map. The fun thing about Project Planner is when you don't want to see it, you just simply turn it off and all of that stuff doesn't get populated into your map. You can see the work operations went away, the sheets went away, but they're never really far away. You just go back, turn it on, and all of that information will come back. Now this is the part of the project where I would go through, I could add annotations, I could add dimensions to my project as well. So if I wanted to put call outs, simply do a call out. You can come over here and select the type call out I want, which is going to do a leader. I could add my text, and then when I come in here, so right there it just says text. I come in here and set it. Now I can put these call outs. I'm just going to set it right there. Such. You can use your editor to rotate it however you want. Rotate it kind of square with the sheet. And then if I wanted to drag my leader or again edit my text, I just simply grab the leader line, put it up here, and now I have text callouts that I can add to my staking sheet as well. Again, with dimensions, you can kind of do the same thing. So if I wanted to maybe measure, add a dimension from here to here, it's simply come in here, add the dimension, In the attribute table, I could use my drawn length. So the dimension length here shows 113 feet. Or I could use a custom value and say that that's 100 feet. And then what I'd have to do is commit these. So once I make that change, come down here into the attribute table and say commit. And now when you look at that dimension, it shows 100 feet from there to there. So a way that you can use dimensions, annotations, different things within your sheet to make it what you're used to. Again, you see the station lines here that you can use your measurements off of for center line measurements. So lots of neat functionality there. So once I kind of go through the project, get everything drawn up the way I want to get it drawn up, now I need to print the sheets because everybody likes to have a set of sheets to take out into the field. That's what contractors are used to. So we want to print these sheets out, maybe to submit for permitting, whatever you want to do with it. So we're going to use the export feature right here. I want to select custom. So we have several different options here. We can include the unit summary. If we want, if we have cost data, we can include that or not. If we want an index sheet, which is the kind of the overview map, like a key map, we can include that or not if we choose to. We can change the resolutions. And then on the unit, on the tally sheet block, I can choose if I want to tally it per stakeage sheet, if I want to add the account code for the materials, part numbers, several different options here for that. So now what I want to do is just hit export. Okay, so after you export, what you'll have is a PDF package of the staking sheets that you just created. So what you'll have is a cover page that's customizable, unit summary of all the units and prices associated with the project that you just created, index map and legend, so you can see where the sheets lay out on the map, and then your staking sheets. So as you can see, you've got a tally grid down here at the bottom that has the units summated by each work operation and totaled up over on the far side here. And as you go through the sheets, you can see that you've got your right of way, your scales, your north arrows, everything there that you need to build an efficient fiber project. So thanks for taking your time to watch this video, and we look forward to speaking to you. If you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you.